taking a little road trip to Toronto to A.H. Wilkens Auction House. There will be lots of surprises and all will be revealed. If you've ever wondered where designers and antique dealers find those rare, one-of-a-kind pieces, today we're demystifying the world of auctions.
We have arrived at our destination. Come along with me.
At the entrance, we're greeted with the auction catalog. This is our guide to the featured pieces, each listed with a photograph, lot number, and description, as well as the price estimate. From here, I invite you to explore the showroom with me. Our first object of interest is this beautiful Italian bust of a young lady, sculpted in terracotta and set on a marble base. Auction houses carefully review each piece and note any visible damage. Here, you may notice a small chip to the tip of the nose. This is the sort of detail usually recorded in the condition report. Before placing a bid, it's always wise to check it closely.
I think that the desk is a really special piece.
Let's take a closer look. This is a remarkable Drexel Heritage Louis XV style black lacquer Chinoiserie desk featuring hand-painted gold floral motifs and brass ormolu accents. It has a gorgeous black leather writing surface with gold-tooled detailing, framed by a burl wood border. Pieces like this are quite unique, and they come up very rarely here in Canada. Next, we have this Provençal walnut desk, which is really interesting. In the online photographs, it appeared a little more refined, and this is exactly why it is so valuable to attend an auction preview in person. Once you see the piece up close, you notice the details differently. For example, the carving here is quite profuse and elaborate, but also fairly shallow. And for my own personal aesthetic, I tend to prefer carvings that feel deeper, crisper, and more finely executed. These are the English Regency chairs that from afar look like eyes staring back at you, while up close they actually reveal a classical painted figure with a goose. Between the chairs is a precious Louis XV style demi-lune commode with colored marquetry of musical instruments and bugs. Auctions are also a wonderful place to begin or slowly build an art collection alongside beautiful objects for the home. These antique Louis Vuitton steamer trunks are such unique pieces. One creative way to use them is as a bar. Standing the trunk upright, opening it, and adding interior shelving for bottles and glassware. They can also make a beautiful coffee table, though I would definitely protect the surface with glass. They're wonderful beyond storage, because let's be honest, most of us won't be traveling with them anytime soon. This stunning object of art is a 3-dimensional floral mirror. I don't think I've seen anything quite as whimsical as this. It feels so organic, almost Art Nouveau in spirit. I would argue this is most likely Italian tollwork, a craft where each petal is made out of metal, handcrafted and forged into these exquisite organic floral forms. I admire the mastery. Even though this is metal, there's such a beautiful juxtaposition. The material itself is cold, austere, and strong, and yet here it has been transformed into something delicate, romantic, and alive.
This is a very French country piece. It's interesting because even though the relief and the carvings are quite intricate, you'll see that the way the wood is finished, it's very rough sawn, and it has that very rustic country feel to it. It's definitely a heavier piece, a little bit less refined, but it's very substantial and just feels grand. A Lord of the Ring fans or Harry Potter, you might appreciate this book of wizardry and sorcery. Look at the size of it, just for comparison. It's gigantic. These pieces. The set of Bergère chairs are absolutely exquisite. You can rarely come by a set like this. It's got a flat back, uniform solid sides. It's a Louis XVI piece, neoclassic in its aesthetic. It has silk brocade floral fabric, and of course, down-filled cushions. And I absolutely enjoy the cream-colored frame. And just to note that they have taken a light blue, powder blue hue into the cream paint finish. And it has one of its very own sectional ottomans, so you can actually use it in between, sort of like a coffee table if you put a tray on top, or create a chaise longue by adding it to one of the chairs. Stunning pieces.
This is a Persian-style helmet known as a Kulah. You can see the calligraphic inscriptions along the sides, along with a chainmail and nasal guard, details that make it feel both ornamental and martial.
French country Provençal cane-back chair in most likely a walnut wood, but what I really adore about these are these gorgeous Aubusson hand-knotted cushions.
This appears to be an authentic 18th century piece, painted on porcelain. You can see the deterioration of the brocade fabric used behind it, which is often one of those clues that suggests a true antique. And honestly, the easel alone is quite beautiful.
And you could see this little piece unfortunately has fallen apart. This mirror's coming out, but all of these individual pieces are actually like loose because they're wired with metal together. You find that with Venetian mirrors and Murano glass, the pieces are all tied in by little metal fixtures, and so they kind of have a little bit of movement to them. This is just exquisite work with all of these tiny details of glass, florals, and ornament. I was just thinking that even if you have a very simple walk-in closet, for example, we've transformed our walk-in closet as a whole room with just simple IKEA shelving units. However, you can place one very unique antique piece to really make it such a special environment for yourself. So if you have an antique mirror like this, maybe on top of a more modern table and maybe an antique chair, it transforms the entire look of the room. This is called The Biblical Message of Marc Chagall's artworks. He is one of my favorite artists. And this book, I suppose, interprets a lot of the biblical paintings that he has done and the meaning and symbolism behind them. This looks like Moses with the Ten Commandments. And right here, Moses before the burning of the bush. Marc Chagall was certainly an artist who never shied away from color. He used very vibrant colors like violets, reds, blues, greens, yellows. A very whimsical artist. And I hope that one day when I'm in Paris, I'll go to the opera to look at the ceiling of one of his most famous works of art. An establishment that welcomes the animals, that's always a good thing. As Martha Stewart would say, that's a good thing.
And here are 19th century English bronze imperial measures. And I have to admit, I'm curious how one might display or repurpose them in the home. If you have any creative ideas, leave them in the comments below. Of course, the real question is, which treasures made it from my shortlist to the auction block? Stay tuned for the next episode where I'll reveal what I decided to bid on, how the auction unfolded, and whether any of these pieces found their way into our home. A very special thank you to Andrea Ziefman, Michael Dawson, and the entire A.H. Wilkens team for so kindly allowing us to film this auction preview and for accommodating us with such generosity throughout the process.